Hi, it's Katherine Skaggs, and this is a reading for Spring Equinox for March 19th, 2024. We're coming into springtime. The light is returning, and we are moving into a brand new cycle over the next quarter. But also, this energy is really about rebirth, coming into new beginnings, being able to shake off the cold of this last winter. So, I wanted to see, what do we need to know as we move into our new cycle? What seeds are you planting as the sun returns? Are you full of light and shiny, or do you need to know more about this cycle to know how to traverse it? There's a lot going on in this world, and one of the things I want to remind you of from a shamanic and spiritual perspective is that you are the creator of your reality. Now, it doesn't seem like that sometimes. It feels like the world is happening to us. And so I'm focusing in on this reading to how can we move forward with greater clarity to create intentionally, to use these energies of the cosmos right down now in this earth cycle to move forward with greater love, with greater happiness, letting go of anxiety or fear, so we can be present to the magic, be present to possibilities. To know that all of our futures are created in every breath, in every moment, in every choice. And so may we choose well. Let's see what the cards have to tell us from the Mythical Goddess Tarot. I've been shuffling and shuffling. So just asking what spring energies brings to us and how can we best leverage this energy at this time to create in greater harmony and happiness, and to let go of fear, to let go of any limiting energies, thought forms, emotions, events where we haven't felt good, where we haven't felt empowered. So this is about returning to our power and the light of who we are as we come out of wintertime. All right. First three cards have to do with who are we as we enter into spring. You know, what's our medicine? What's our gifts? What do we need to know as we move forward? So the first card that comes is the Crone of Seas. She's called Resurrection. She's got this deep scorpionic energy of having gone through all kinds of hardship, gone through difficulty, and yet coming out alive and well, wiser because of what she's gone through. And so she tells me that as we come into spring, it's important to honor ourselves and all that we've walked through emotionally, to know that we've learned a great deal, that we're being resurrected as we move into spring, that all the challenges we've had emotionally are here to bring us into wisdom, that there's the good and the alchemy that comes from the challenges. So notice how you feel, how wise you are because of what you've experienced emotionally, and honor that place so that you can truly move into your next stage of being you, of being the best you possible, of being reborn, that this resurrection is birthed from these great depths emotionally. All right, there's another card that sits with this. It is a card from the mental suit, from the wind suit, and it's pessimism. So here's what we need to do going into spring. We need to really look at all the places mentally that we put ourselves in a box and that we may not have hope, that we may not have a good feeling about things. You know, this comes from past difficulties, past places where we have been limited emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and where we've got a thought form, we've got an idea, we've got a belief system that says, you know, I don't know if I can get out of this box or not. So as this light comes in, I want you to shine it into all your boxes, all your limiting belief systems, knowing that spring is an opportunity to get outside of the mental aspects that are holding you back so that you can move into more light. Because with this resurrection, this rebirth, you're going to have to deal with the mental thought forms that have kept you from new life. That honesty is going to be one of the best things you can do as you look at where are the places that you think you can't do something. Once you face them, you're going to be able to come into the light. So we're going to be healing those things that have kept us back mentally. As we move into the light, this is a soul journey that we have. We are the light. No matter what we've gone through emotionally or mentally, this is an indication and an affirmation that you are the light, that you are what it takes to come into the light, and that this new cycle can be filled with light as you acknowledge that within yourself, as you acknowledge it is within and all around you. That's a good place to be, is to remember that you are the light. All right, let's take a look at the next three cards, which have to do, what is the big picture in this cycle of springtime? What do we need to know about it? Two more mental cards come up as we come in. They're very interesting. We are needing to face our fears as we come into the springtime. You know, we got all kinds of political stuff on the news. We've got all kinds of worry that's broadcast every day through social media and the news. And we really need to pay attention to our mental thoughts and what we do with them and how we work with our mental state of being. We've got the isolation card in the big picture. So what does that say? This card's an interesting card. It's all about balance. It is a Libra energy in what is that? It's an energy about discipline. It is an energy about not only the mind, but how are you perceiving your experiences? This tells me that we need to take time for ourselves mentally and emotionally and spiritually. You need to step away from the crowd. You need to look within. And it's going to help you know how to move forward. All the answers are here. We look out here all the time in our Western world. We think that some guru has the answers, some authority, and the authority's inside of you once you're able to get still and look within. This also says there may be times when you want to be part of the crowd that you need to know to go meditate, to go do yoga, to go do the gym, to go take a walk, that you're going to need your personal space besides your space where you share with others. At times, it's all a matter of perspective. Do you feel alone when you're not with the crowd? Or can you be with yourself and your thoughts and your inner spaces? So when you do go out into the world, you're integrated and you feel whole, and that you're not dependent on everyone else for your happiness. Your happiness really is within. So balance yourself in this next cycle. Make sure you take plenty of time for yourself, as well as whatever you share with others, that you're in balance in knowing yourself. The next card has to do with fear. And that's like, okay, this next cycle is about facing your fears. So that's why that mental card of going within is really important, is that we need to get to our heart and get out of that fearful place of being. That pessimism card was kind of an overshadowing of this fear card, that we need to face our fear to be happy. We need to let go of the mental constructs, the belief systems, the emotional energies, and the external world that says there's something to be afraid of. This reality is a construct. How you enter into it is what you create. More easily said than done. You may or may not believe me, but if you have fear guiding you, then you're going to keep creating fearful experiences, and you're going to live in anxiety and difficulty in your life. We need to face these fears in the overall so we can get to the heart. Actually, in this card, I painted it with the head kind of crazy, but buried in the earth is the heart space, meaning that through trauma or fright or fear, we have gotten triggered and we can't live our life in a whole way. So face any fears that you have so that you can get to the visionary aspect of your mind best as possible. Ask for help, get a healing, whatever you need to do. Find something that calms you, breath work. There's a lot of modalities out there to help you. But face your fears so that you'll know how to move forward in this next cycle. Because when you want to give birth to something, you want to do it in love, you want to do it in joy, you want to do it with the focus of positivity, so that that is the energy that gives birth to the next cycle. This fear is probably also indicating a great deal of what's going on in the United States and probably around the world in so many circumstances. We have a crazy election coming up this year. We have climate change. We have shooting still. We have a lot of turmoil in our environment, a lot of trauma. And so we need to be able to clear that in ourselves so that we can face it in the world and do so with greater love, and to find solutions that are born of love, of what's good for you is going to be good for others. And we need to be able to focus our minds that way so that that can work with our heart spaces in our physical reality. The next card we have is the Child Creative Spark. So this is going to be the energy that we need to create anew. This is the energy that we need to face those mental difficult places and to come to greater love and passion in our lives. This is a child of new beginnings. It's about engage your creativity and your passion. How good can you get? How can you focus on intentionally creating what you desire? It'll burn you up on fire in a good way, and it's going to give the energy to start whatever it is you hope for, you dream for, that is of greater harmony and peace, greater joy in this world. So let go of the mental stuff, be mindful, and let go of the craziness in the mind, and get into your passion, your creativity. And that'll set the stage for everything that's going to come your way during the next 3 months or more through this spring cycle. Okay, the next 3 cards have to do with what is the challenges that we have. And I always like to say that our challenges on the other side of that coin are our opportunities. Whatever lessons we have, they can be challenging, but they're growth opportunities. And one of the things we need to look at, we've got the High Priestess in the center of our lessons. Now, this is Isis, the great Egyptian goddess, who's a beloved goddess of Egypt. She's a fertility goddess. She's also a goddess of birth and death. She understands the spectrum of life. And she also is a massive healer. She's got this lunar energy with this High Priestess card, which is all about going within. It's also about trusting the magic, your spirituality, ritual, ceremony, making life a sacred ceremony. So during these times that are coming, it's going to be important for you to recognize that you're the High Priestess of your own life, that you're the one to bring ceremony and ritual to give birth to new life, to take all the places of death and to realize they're doorways into new life, that whatever you're ending brings new beginnings, and that it can be a blessed and expansive experience, a fertile experience. So you may want to call on Isis to teach you about ceremony and magic, to teach you about going within using prayer, understanding that you are in constant communication with the divine, and to bring that divinity and that sacredness to everyday ordinary life, and that it will transmute and change how you live on a daily basis. It'll take that pessimism and it'll heal it. It'll take that fear and it'll heal it. So bring that to ceremony and ritual. If you don't know how, my book, Artist, Shaman, Healer, Sage, tells a lot about it. And there's a lot of books and a lot of teachers out there to help bring you back to ceremony in your life. Focus on how to bring divinity into ordinary life, and you'll engage Isis. Okay, one of the other challenges or opportunities here, it's so weird, my keyboard just went away. That was weird. Anyway, sorry, recording on my computer. All right, the community card is also in our lessons. So it tells me that at this time, it's going to be important for us to get into community. Here we're going to have to do it in balance. We had that isolation card show up in the big picture. Now we have community as our challenges. So one of the things it says to me is that your opportunity is to gather with like-minded souls in ceremony and ritual in the places that your heart is on fire, where you love it. But also, you may have a hard time finding it, or perhaps the community you've had needs to change, or it needs to be upgraded. So think about how you want to be in community, who you want to be with, and what lessons you have to learn by being in community, of being in the same page, of being a leader, being in a circle where there is no hierarchy, that you're in a circle of like-minded souls who love being together and expand your spirituality, but also enriches every aspect of your life. And that there's going to be some lessons and some opportunities coming your way here. The other thing that we need to learn at this time is to truly trust and focus on our heart's desires. This is what fuels what we create in our life. What do you focus on? What do you love? What do you need? And to let that emotional yumminess arise in you that this is going to be your school of life right now. To be fertile, to come into community in a place where your heart is full, and to keep focusing on that, knowing that that is to manifest in your world as you connect to your heart. To get out of your head. I feel like these 3 mental cards are definitely about get out of here, get down to your heart, and know that your heart knows the way. Now it's time to learn to trust that in this new cycle as the light comes forward. To let the light shine through your heart and into your heart. All right, the next 3 cards have to do with what action do we need to take during this spring cycle, what's going to be most beneficial for us as we grow. And I love it. One of the cards is the Mother Earth birth card. Doesn't she look like spring? She's Virgo energy. She's about taking those seeds that you have and giving birth. So focus on your heart's desires, as I said in this last section. And then look for all the places where you see growth in your life, where you see that these seeds for new beginnings are being planted, but also where they're growing. Nurture this part of yourself. Be the one who's giving birth to these ideas, these hopes, and these dreams. Commit and plant your garden that you want to have come up in all of your physical and spiritual life. Let it come forward. I've got some new things I'm working on right now, and I need to give them energy. And that will help give birth to what I truly desire in my next cycles. And the same would be true for you. Now we've got 2 goddesses that are here with the birth mama. And I like to say Kuan Yin's here to help us. So be kind and compassionate toward yourself. This is the Empress card, and she's all about heart. Bring heart into everything you do from the most high divine level that you can imagine embodying. Be compassionate to yourself, first of all. Be the embodiment of Kuan Yin as a very expanded, spiritual, enlightened way of being. She's all heart. She has compassion and mercy. So any place that there's suffering, give heart medicine, give compassion. Do what you need to heal your own heart so that you can extend that not only to yourself, but to those around you. Because as you do so, you'll find healing in every part of your world. These are also the colors of spring. That beautiful green energy is the energy for life. It is life force. So give that to yourself and the world around you, and you're going to know that your new cycle is going to be built on that energy. You've also got Morgan Le Fay. She's the sorceress in our deck, which is also the magician in a traditional deck. She's all about wielding the power of the elements in this world and then the invisible world where you create magic. That means to shapeshift your reality. Believe in magic, believe in the invisible world, believe in what is possible, and then invoke that magic and that power from your very being. Call upon Morgan Le Fay, and she's the queen of the fairies. She actually, in Arthurian mystical teachings, she empowered King Arthur's sword that gave him the power to become king and to be magical himself. So we need to invoke the magic to shapeshift our circumstances into something more amazing, spiritual, and magical. So think about what that's like for you. What is it like to think of yourself as a magical being? Trust your intuition. Trust the universe has your back. You have elemental and spiritual helpers and guides that you can wield that power as you direct it intentionally and connect to it. So if we stay on this path and heed these energies and the guidance here, we've got an interesting outcome. We've got success, illumination, and we've got a warning card here that I'm going to bring up first. It's the conflict card. It's a fire card too. And it looks like a tangled bunch of dragons. I often see that as tangled DNA. It tells me through this next cycle, as we make these changes, as we move into spring to give birth to new ways of life, that is a place to heal past conflict. It's a place to heal our DNA. It's a place to heal our bodies in all the places when we've been out of harmony. Conflict is born of fear and trauma. Imagine that your DNA gets all jumbled up when there's trauma in your family, when there's trauma in your life. It creates illness, it suppresses the immune system, it causes patterns that keep looping, meaning they repeat, negative patterns that repeat. So, with this being in the outcome, does it mean necessarily you're going to be born into more conflict, even though good things are coming? Maybe, if you don't deal with what you need to do. So, take 100% responsibility for how you move forward. Notice any places where you don't feel comfortable, where there's anxiety, where there's fear, that fear that was up in the big picture. It needs to be addressed in the most compassionate, kind, and loving way possible, so that you know that this card is actually one that foretells you healing more of the conflict instead of going into more conflict. I see it as two possibilities, really. That as a result of your healing, conflict will come up that you recognize so you don't need to live in it. Or if you ignore it, that conflict's going to keep staying on. And yet these two cards next to the conflict card tells me that there's a foreboding. If you're doing your spiritual work, you're paying attention in life, there's a great chance that you're going to heal things that have held you back in the past, that conflict card wants to be healed, and that you do not need to carry that burden forward as you do your spiritual work and you take responsibility for yourself in this reality. The illumination card's right at the center of the outcome. And this is a card of new beginnings. It's an ace. It's new beginnings, but it's also that you are protected by your angels, your helpers, your guides. It's illumination. It means more light. You're being illuminated so that these dark areas, these difficult places, have the opportunity to be healed. And this is a representation of healing the mind as well as all of the soul. That you're being illuminated as you go through this journey. This is very esoteric spiritual reading, and yes, it should advise your physical life too, as you work from the spiritual part outwards. So the ace says, let go of those things where you've been in a frightened mind, and that this is bringing you to that place over this next cycle as you take care of yourself, as you follow your path, as you become more compassionate and magical, is that you move into an illuminated mind, and that guides the rest of your life in greater peace and joy. It also, on a very physical level, says there's massive change taking place over this cycle to bring great success, value to your life, value to yourself spiritually, but also physically into your life. That things are in harmony. And when I consider success, is that really just all about money? No. It's about having a worthwhile life. It's about being worthy of happiness, being worthy of good things manifesting in your physical reality, of embodying that in all ways possible. So I hope this helps you look at the energies for the spring equinox and embrace this time of birth, of letting go of the darkness and coming into the light, where you know that you are loved and guided every step of the way. Katherine Skaggs and the Mythical Goddess Tarot.